I hope you guys are doing well today. For those of you that aren't, that may be struggling, I want to talk to you. There is a moment in our lives, all of us. Some of us, we put the mask on and we pretend that everything is okay. But for others of us, it's harder to do that. And so for that person today who is asking themselves some serious questions and wondering what life is all about and what their purpose is, I want to tell you right now that you're not alone, okay? All of us at some point or another have that question where we ask ourselves, who am I? And I'm going to tell you right now, that's a healthy question to ask at different seasons in our life, because who we are evolves and changes as we grow. But I want to caution you right now, if you are looking for the answer to that question through the eyes of someone else, if you are allowing yourself to be defined and find the answer to the question of who you are through the eyes of someone else, or hear me, or who you want to be perceived as, both of those situations are going to misguide you to the truth of the question, who am I? Now, Charlotte, how did you get here? Because this is kind of a deep and broad topic. I'm going to tell you. I was on a road trip today, and I made the decision to put on some praise and worship music and just love God and Source, whatever label you choose. For the sake of this video, I will refer to it as God, because that is a comfort for me, because it's a relationship. Choose to use Source if it's more comfortable. However, I was driving and I was listening to the group Casting Crowns, and they have a song called Who Am I? And long story short, I looped it for over an hour, just listening to the song over and over again. And I heard in my head, this is so perfect, because at some point in life, we all ask ourselves that. If you don't, then that's okay. You're still in, you're not at that point yet, but you will be. And there is no judgment. But I will say that if you are growing through life and you're asking yourself those questions, do not feel alone. I have asked myself this question time and time and time again. And even those in my core circle have asked me, who are you today? That's okay. The truth of the matter, and I'm going to give you a word right now that I was not familiar with until recently. It's the word ascension. Ascension is a rising up. It's a rising up of consciousness. It's a rising up of how we perceive things. It's a rising up of faith and understanding. But all of that very first step of ascension, of understanding what your purpose is in life and who you are, the very first step is about pulling off the layers of that onion and becoming real with yourself to the very question, who am I? And I'm going to tell you from personal experience that for myself, it was very hard to accept the truth that some of who I thought I was really who I wanted others to see me as. And then sometimes it was who I wanted to be, but it wasn't who I really was. You have to ask yourself some hard questions to get real with yourself. And once you can acknowledge the answers, no matter how dark or how ugly they may be to you in the moment, it's still truth. And truth is what we stand on, because that is what we build upon. Okay? So In the song by Casting Crowns, there is a line in there. And for you musicians, you can appreciate this. It's the bridge of the song. And so there is so much power and emotion behind these words. And I am a person who is triggered by words. And the words go, "The voice who calms the sea will call out through the rain and calm the storm in me." And let me say that again. The voice that calms the sea will call out through the rain and calm the storm in me. And after I had it on loop for over an hour, I just began crying. Not safe because I'm driving. However, the truth that this God, who is so powerful and so big, he can part the Red Sea. He can do anything. He is so powerful and everywhere. But this same God, who is so big, he will stop what he is doing and he will reach down at the spot that I am in, and he will pick me up with loving arms. And he will calm that storm that is raging within me and within you. There is nothing so important, not the riots, not a virus, not anything so important that you will not be listened to. But who are you needing to be listened to from? It's about perspective. It's about who you are trying to identify your truth from. The only people or person who can identify and define your truth is you. Even if what I'm saying to you right now does not strike a chord of truth in you, then this is not the time for you to hear it. It doesn't mean it's not so. It just means it's not the time for you to receive that as faith and truth. And that's okay. It doesn't mean God loves you any less. However, that line that I am so important to him, that he will stop what he's doing and reach down and grab me, that made me feel special. It made me feel love. And I want that so badly for whoever is watching this, because no matter how difficult what we are going through feels like right now, it is going to pass. And you're not alone in the process to get there. The Bible tells us in Jeremiah, God knew us before we were in the womb. And this opens up conversations that we'll talk about in later videos. But it talks about, in church, we call it predestination. In this faith that I have now, we call it past life and reincarnation. So, our energy and our soul existed before we came to this earth. And there is energy, and there are divine appointments along the way. People we will meet, things we will hear, things we will read that will keep us on this path of where we want to be. We want to be, not anyone else, us. So you do have to have a season and a moment to get real with yourself and ask yourself, who am I? But please, I pray that you are the one defining that answer and not someone else. Okay? I hope this helps you, and I hope this helps you to find peace and love and hope.